And we are live. Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday. Today's book is very powerful, very important to talk about the art of work. I believe the earth without art is just eh, blah, nothing, meh, whatever you want to call it. If you take the word art out of earth, what do you get left? EH, there's no meaning. Everything you do in your life is an art. When we speak about work, that's an art. And nobody was created by accident. We are all here to fulfill a purpose. Does everyone fulfill their purpose? Unfortunately, not. Most adults are stuck. Stuck doing jobs they don't like and from which they find little to no fulfillment at all, but still can't quit. Why? Because they have to pay the bills. A trustworthy survey found that only 13% of the world's workers are engaged in their jobs. Of the world, only 13% are really engaged in their work. That's a huge number because we are talking in the whole world. That's a huge number. Not, you might look at it, 13% is not a big number, but only 13% are enjoying. And this is very, very scary. You might ask why? Because we are talking 87% of the whole world are in a job. They are not fulfilling their purpose. They are not engaging in their job. 87% of the whole world. That's a serious problem. It means the remaining, which is 87%, are frustrated, have to wake up on work days, and yet can't seem to be able to do much about it. The numbers sadden you when you consider the fact that we spend a good part of our lives working. And if we spend a good part of our life working, and we are talking about 87% of the whole world are spending most of their time, of their life, working in a job they are not feeling themselves. They are not fulfilling their purpose. This is very sad. This is very sad and shocking. And it is really frustrating to hear that. It's an actual serious problem if you think about it. Most people spend more time on their jobs or activities related to their jobs than they do on anything else, including the time they spend on themselves and with family members. This begs a serious question. If we spend so much time working, could it be that the universe was designed to make us find fulfillment from work? And if that's so, aren't most of us missing something? At least we can draw insights from successful people who seem to have found their place in the world. All such people report finding fulfillment and satisfaction from their work. It's even a scientific fact. We humans have been proven to have only three sources of fulfillment: meaningful work, quality relationships, and a redemptive view of suffering. This was made popular by the works of Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who had an intimate experience with severe suffering. Until we learn to move from seeing work as a means for survival to see it as a calling and a channel through which we impact the world, we would never stop being frustrated. Let me repeat this. Until we learn to move from seeing work as a means for survival to see it as a calling and a channel through which we impact the world, we would never stop being frustrated. You weren't designed to do every job that comes your way just for survival's sake. There's a specific path that has been cut out for you. A calling that you must realize and start living. And discovering and fulfilling your calling is the secret to lasting fulfillment. We all started as kids believing we are here to make a vital contribution to the world. But life happened and we dropped all those wonderful dreams because we have bills to pay. But you know deep down that you aren't living your best. You know there is more, and this summary is going to be your guide for rooting it out. Did you know the Holocaust, also known as the Shoah, was the World War II genocide of the European Jews? The term was derived from two Greek words, holos, which mean whole, and kostos, which mean burned. The whole thing was burned. That's what the word Holocaust came from. It was used historically to describe a sacrificial offering burned on an altar. There are no exact formulas for discovering your life's work, but there are guidelines that will help. Have you noticed that formulas rarely work in the context of human experience? The fact that your father worked for 38 years and retired rich is no guarantee that you'll be rich after working for 38 years yourself. You could create wealth earlier than that, and you could even die trying that. That a man takes his wife out every weekend and they are happily married doesn't mean you have to do that same thing to have a happy home. The bottom line, formulas work better in math and physics than in practical human experiences. What governs life is not formulas, but principles. For every result you see in people, there is a governing principle, and that's what you should look out for, rather than the formulas they used. Recall our first example. For the woman whose father created wealth in 38 years. The best she can do is adopt the wealth creation principles he applied in his life. If she's able to grasp and implement them, chances are high she may even replicate the same result faster. Principles don't change, but tactics do. In the same vein, when we talk about finding your life's work, your goal shouldn't be to see how others did it, but to understand the principles behind it. Your experience will be unique, but principles will guide you. Your purpose is hidden in you and has been trying to find expression one way or the other all through your life. If you look back at your life so far and consider your experiences, gifts, and desires, you would notice a fine thread of purpose coursing through your experiences and passions. This, to some extent, depends on your age. The more years you've lived without walking in purpose, the harder it gets to piece your life together and see how your desires and experiences are pointing you to your life's work. But if you're diligent, you'd see it. Note that it won't be all clear at once, but you'd see that your current passion and the overarching desires you've had since childhood synchronize in a good way, pointing you in a specific direction. You won't know where the road will lead, but the best you can do is begin actively working in that direction. Clarity comes with actions. Action steps taken in faith are better than sitting and waiting for a miracle to happen. Miracles do happen, but action steps taken in faith are better than sitting and waiting for a miracle to happen. For example, I'm a single guy. I want to find the right woman. I cannot be just sitting like this. God, please send her to me. I believe in miracles. God, please send her to me. Like, she's not gonna drop out of the sky, And even if she came to you and you did not notice and you did not take action with faith, because faith is very important, it's not gonna happen. Always remind me of the stories when Paul was in a jail, and when the angel of God comes to him and tell him, Paul, get up and the chains will fall. Not Paul stay sitting there or laying there and the chains are falling. Get up. And the chains fall. The reason some people will never fulfill their purpose in life is that they are waiting for a miracle to happen to them. They want a special event to hit them. They want the situation to be right before they take any steps. They are waiting to see the whole picture before they make a move. They don't want to move without knowing exactly where they are going to end. They want security and perfection, failing to realize that life itself is not perfect and only God is perfect. Ask anyone who has achieved something great and they tell you they didn't know how things would turn out before they started. There will be times you will leap without having a safety net to catch you. But taking actions is always better than living in inaction. Which reminds me of a quote, if I can remember it good. If you are scared of jumping or from jumping, skydiving is not for you. In order to skydive, you have to jump. Of course, there's a difference between foolishness and leaping with faith. You don't just jump into the unknown without some level of preparation, but at the same time, you don't sit and wait for everything to be perfect. Confused? Let's have an example. Imagine you're a married man who has been working as a programmer in a tech company for 15 years. But you want to start a business creating finance software for corporate organizations. You've always had a knack for helping businesses handle finances better, but you've not done anything about it all these years. Now you want to bring your dreams to life. What steps do you take? Do you quit your job to start a business? That wouldn't be a wise decision. And for female, you can imagine the same thing, but as a man, as a woman, you do a job. Considering you have a family to take care of and your savings can't take you for so long. Doesn't mean you have to abandon your dream. No. A wise thing to do is to come up with a plan. Maybe a 2-year plan or 3 or shorter. Your plan should include starting the business on the side and saving money for when you leave your day job. What's important is that you have an action plan and you're not just waiting for a miracle to happen. No man is an island. We all need the love and support of others. I've been drinking this since 6 in the morning. A smooth drinker. Self-made is a term that's common when talking about success. The personal sacrifices required to achieve success are enormous. And if you don't come from a wealthy home or don't have connections, your journey to success will be tougher. That, perhaps, is the rationale behind using self-made to describe successful people who come from underprivileged backgrounds, but no matter what, there is no one who achieves anything worthwhile on their own. You may be the main player, but you can't possibly do it alone. There is no I in team. Let's take a soccer match. No matter how the player is good, he needs the help of his teammates. They need to give him the pass. They need to understand him. They need to see him. They need to be in sync. And I'm not talking about the band who try to copy Backstreet Boys and sync. No. You may be the main player, but you can't possibly do it alone. We all need guidance in this world. Without guidance, it is impossible to be successful. This kind of mentorship could come from the authors we read, our parents, friends, total strangers, colleagues at work, or the people we follow on social media. But the main and most important guidance that you will get is the Bible. And I urge you to read Proverbs. There are 31 chapters in Proverbs. If you take every day, today is the 26th. The 27th. If you go to Proverbs and read chapter 27, tomorrow chapter 28, by the end of the month, you finish the whole book of Proverbs. The wisdom of God, what to do and what not to do, how to live your life, the best guidance. Humility. Humility is a requirement for mentorship. Which brings me to another point. There is naturally in every man a desire to know. But what profiteth knowledge without the fear of God? Listen to me. God loves simple, the humble one. Better of a surety is a lowly peasant who serveth God than a proud philosopher who watcheth the stars and neglecteth the knowledge of himself. That's not in the book. That's from the book, The Imitation of Christ. But I felt like telling you this. It's an amazing book. Humility is a requirement for mentorship. Thanks to the internet, you no longer have to wait to meet mentors in person. There are so many online resources you can learn from. Avoid the effort excuse. You can exceed your expectations. Sometimes we go through life explaining a lack of excellence with the excuse that we gave it our best. This has become the default shrugged off response for most people whenever they are facing failure. I did my best. I gave it my best. Now we are reading from a book, from the internet, from online, a book that I bought online. Are we learning from it? Is that a mentor for us? Yes. Yes. I do agree some of the mentors are kind of hidden. You have to search for them. But reading is very important for us and we learn from it. And I'm learning today and you are learning and we learn from each other until the day we die. Every day we're going to learn something new. That's a fact. At least I tried. I gave it out my best. At least I tried. What more could anyone ask? The effort excuse is used whenever individuals encounter a challenge that exceeds their abilities. For many people, there is a fundamental problem with the understanding of their own capabilities. And when you look at it, you see a lot of people who are excited and they see your potential more than what you can see. You'll be like, what are you talking about? I don't see it. People see it in you. Whoa, you're so good at that. I can't believe you did this. And in your mind, you might be like, oh, it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing for you. Maybe. You see somebody sitting on a piano, like, whoa, what he's doing, this is amazing. In their mind, it's nothing. It's a gift. But remember, all of us are gifted. The problem is, not everyone opened the package. Often, humans exceed their own expectations of themselves. And in spite of this, humans continue to believe in the myth of talent. That some people are born a certain way and that they cannot rise above their circumstances and achieve something greater than they've ever done before. Let's talk a little bit. We're given an example that I gave so many times before. It's true. Some people are born with a certain gift or talent. But if I can do it, that does not mean you cannot do it. Let's take this little example, simple example. How many of you right now would say, I can't draw? How many of you? Be honest. Joe? Who else? Okay, not to stay like too long on this subject, but the real, the real, the exact thing would be not I can't draw, no. I don't want to draw. Or I don't like to draw. Here's my next question. I'm pretty sure most of you know how to write number one. Now, what if I told you I can see more than 100 drawing that I can do from number one? For example, you did number one here, right? Do another one here, number one here, another one here. Connect this just like that. Do a little bit, drop it. You just drew a candle. I'm sorry, guys, for the interruption, but you know, normally people what they do when they do the reading, they planned before. I can like sit in front of camera, make it more professional. Maybe I should do it one of these days. Uh, but I like this interaction thing. I like to keep it like raw and real. You know what I mean? And when you're watching like replay, you can just like skip. I could just sit with a nice background behind me, you know, and talk in front of the camera. And if I made a mistake, I stop it, edit it, maybe add some uh, caption, or even put like some later on, God willing, I might be doing this, you know, but that's later on. I can edit and I can maybe add like caption, put some like uh, sticker, whatever. To get back to what I was saying, so in case you did not skip and we don't lose like our track of thought, humans continues to believe in the myth of talent. That some people are born a certain way and that they cannot rise above their circumstances and achieve something greater than they've ever done before. However, with enough encouragement and self motivation, anyone can achieve whatever they set out to achieve. If you change the way you think, you can accomplish more. We talked about this many times before. You think about it, you think positive, you manifest that idea. The moment you say, I can't, you are talking to yourself negative. I'm not telling you to say, I can, when you feel you're not 100% able, but tell yourself, I'm gonna try. And I might not succeed from the first time, but I'm gonna try. Don't say to yourself, I can't. There is nothing impossible, especially with God. The word impossible by itself, all we have to do is add an apostrophe after the M and it becomes, no, my bad. Put the apostrophe after the I and it becomes I'm possible. And with Christ, I can do anything with Christ. So sorry, guys. This is so unprofessional. Probably tonight, God willing, when I go home, I'm gonna go on my laptop. Maybe there is a way to edit even after I post them, you know? I think it has to be a way to edit them. So, hardwired in our brains and bodies is a potential greater than we realize. And all we have to do to unlock it is believe. I cannot stop laughing, I'm sorry. She keeps saying, I like it raw and real. Okay, we got it. You like it raw. Noted. Touche. According to psychology professor Carol Dweck, most people adhere to one of two mindsets: the fixed mindset or the growth mindset. With the fixed mindset, or with the fixed mindset, people are born with a certain number of finite abilities and cannot exceed those abilities. With the growth mindset, however, potential is unlimited. You can always get better. For this kind of person, the goal is not so much to be the best in the world, but to be better than you were yesterday. The goal is not to be the best in the world, but to be better than you were yesterday. Regardless of natural talent or the lack thereof, every person has the ability to improve themselves. The term deliberate practice was first coined by K. Anders Ericsson, a Swedish psychologist at the University of Florida, whose research claimed that talent is not the cause of excellence. Practice is. Practice makes perfect. I might have the talent and the gift to draw, or to play soccer, or to play music. If I don't practice every day and thoroughly, somebody who does not have half my talent and my gift, but he's a hard worker or she's a hard worker, and they practice and they take it seriously, they're gonna do better than me. Talent is not the cause of excellence. Practice is. As children, we are courageous and willing to fail. But as we get older, we acquire inhibition. Our shame reflex kicks in, unwilling to try new things. We settle for good.
Hey, you got scissors, my man?
As children, we are courageous and willing to fail. But as we get older, our shame reflex kicks in. Unwilling to try new things, we settle for good when called to greatness. Why do we do this? I'm scared of talking in front of people. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna die. Why you are scared? What's the worst gonna happen? You're not gonna be able to talk. Some words you're gonna be like mess up saying it. So what? It's not the ego. It's the fear. The fear when we worry too much about things. But when you were a kid, go dance. You'll probably be walking naked. You don't have this shame reflex. I'll tell you why we do this. Because it's easy. To push ourselves past what others expect, beyond what is normal, is difficult and sometimes awkward. But it is necessary. It is a necessary part of the process. Sometimes the only way to know the difference between a hobby and a calling is to put yourself through the crucible of painful practice. I remember when the first time I wanted to learn guitar by myself. I said to myself, it's not gonna happen. First of all, I'm lefty. I'm trying to learn the guitar on the right as a righty. My fingers were not even like, I felt like I want to just like break my fingers. I tried to play a chord and it hits all the chords with it. I could not place my finger. It hurts. I want to give up, but I didn't. Because I'm a believer that if they can do it, I can do it. They have brain and I have brain. Rather sometimes in some other, like in many cases, thank God, I am blessed with something that I have a very good common sense, if you want. And I'm a fast learner. Like I could see something one time and I'll learn it, and not only I'll learn it, I'll add my touch to it. Customize it in the way I see it works for me and fits me. Failure, what an amazing book. Honestly, I'm gonna be reading this book every single day, not on YouTube, to myself, every single day. Failure is part of the success equation. People dread failure because of how society paints it. In the eyes of the world, failure means you're not smart enough. But that is simply not true. At least, hardly so. We need to change our views on success and failure. Think of it this way. Success is the destination and failure is merely a stop in the way. Let's use the popular bicycle riding illustration to explain this. When learning to ride a bicycle, failing is inevitable. But failing doesn't mean you aren't doing something right. It simply means your body is trying to adjust to a new skill. That's how it is with your life's work. Your purpose is something you've never done before. You're treading new grounds and you don't even know exactly what you're doing. So failing in some things is inevitable. Don't let failure weigh you down and don't let anyone use it against you. Remove failure from your vocabulary. Call it learn and process instead. Say to yourself, I either win or I learn. I don't lose, I don't fail, I learn. Failure can either last a lifetime or be seasonal. The first one is what you should avoid at all costs to make failure as a lifetime. But the second type of failure, which is seasonal, is normal. Lifetime failures are products of backing up the wrong tree. You can be successful doing the wrong thing, and that is very bad. Do this. When you see yourself going in a direction contrary to your dreams and passions, pause. Pause. Go on a retreat and really think about what you're doing. Change directions if it doesn't align with your deepest desires. Let's imagine and say to ourselves, money is not an issue. What would you be doing for a living? And ask yourself the question, are you doing it now? If you are, then you are fulfilling your purpose. If you're not, it's never too late. It's time to think about it. The only time you're gonna enjoy your job, your work, is when you feel that you are not working. When you are able to do it 24/7, not even worrying about eating or drinking or even sleeping. For a real teacher is the one that teaches from the heart and not from the book. Anybody can read a book, but each teacher teaches in their own way. And the one that teaches from the heart are the one that you know they are doing it because they have passion, they love it. Not they are just doing it to get paid and pay the bill at the end of the month. What is the conclusion from this book? Amazing book, which I'm gonna give 5 stars, no doubt. If we're all here to each fulfill a specific purpose, then we're only successful to the degree to which we are living our purpose. And it all starts with discovering why you are here. We've established that purpose discovery doesn't happen overnight. It follows a process. You'll get ideas on what you should be doing with your life. It will come as an internal longing for a particular cause or an unusual fascination for a specific field of human endeavor. That longing in itself is not your purpose, but it's prompting you into discovering more. The more you take action on your promptings, the more clarity you get. Patience is important in all this. You can't force things when it's not yet time. The best you can do is take action and believe that you're getting ahead. The reason you can't just rush into it is that there are skills that you need to acquire along the way, and these take time. You won't even know all the skills needed when you begin, but when you look back after several years, you see the skills you've acquired and the maturity you've attained over time, and realize that you wouldn't have been effective in performing your life's work without them. If purpose discovery is the beginning of your life's work, what is the crown of it? Is it death? Certainly not. Death surely marks the end of your sojourn, but not necessarily the end of your work. Your work is supposed to outlive you. You make this happen by passing on your legacy. The crown of your life's work is when you're able to replicate yourself in others whose path or paths are similar to yours. Try this. Think about the work you'd like to be remembered for after you die. Start doing it if you haven't, because that's your purpose right here. Think about the work that you like to be remembered of with after you die. You want people to say, oh, this person did that. That was your legacy. If you're not doing it, start doing it. This is your purpose. The amazing thing is, it is a really powerful book. I love it. After reading this book, and I'm like, hold on a second. Go to the conclusion. At the end, remember the last sentence. Think about the work you'd like to be remembered for after you die. Start doing it if you haven't, because that's your purpose right here. This is the summary of the whole book. This paragraph. Think about the work you'd like to be remembered for after you die. Start doing it if you haven't, because that's your purpose right there. Thank you very much, guys. God bless you. Woo! It took a lot of energy of me. I will see you when I see you, if God permits, in another book reading. God bless you. Thank you, everybody who's sharing this broadcast, everybody who's liking it, everybody. If you have anything you like to add, you have to say something, please interact, leave comments. Because I like to listen to what you have to say. Only if you like it, like the video. You don't have to like it. If you dislike it, that's fine. I need this kind of interaction. God bless you all. Until we meet again.